One of the other simple tests that you'll want to do with a cooling system is to check the glycol level and check the reserve alkalinity of your coolant. You can do this through the simple use of a test strip, much like we did in brakes. It's a good idea, if you can't reach all the way into the degas bottle, to use a pair of pliers to get yourself far enough in there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your test strip, your coolant test strip, and you're going to dip it down into the coolant until all the pads have been submerged. I usually take and just tap it off a little bit, get the excess off of there, and then per the directions on the bottle, which you'll want to read before you do this, I'm going to allow this to sit for 15 seconds before comparing to the bottle. Now I'm going to take my test strip and I'm going to compare the two pads to the colors that are on the side of the coolant test strip bottle. Two of the things it's looking for is the glycol level, and when we put that pad, it looks like we're right at the 50% glycol level, which is exactly where we want to be, and since this vehicle has never been on the road, exactly where it should be. When we look at the acid corrosion protection, the reserve alkalinity, basically how much defense does it have against going into being into an acid state, we see that it is right in the OK range. And this is long life coolant. So it is a little bit between the OK and unsatisfactory if this was a standard coolant. However, knowing that this is long life coolant, we know that this is within a satisfactory range. If you found that the color was off, if your percent of glycol was low, you could drain some of the system and add direct 100% concentrated coolant to the system to raise the glycol level. Or if that top pad was too dark, you could drain some of the coolant and then add distilled water. If your acid corrosion protection, your reserve alkalinity, was too low, at that point you're going to want to flush the system. However, having too low of a glycol level or a acid corrosion protection reserve alkalinity could warrant a flush. Make sure to follow workshop manual procedures to correctly flush a vehicle, not just a drain and fill. A drain and fill does not get all of the coolant out of the engine and does not give the customer a good flush.